Your mom's here?
Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
Love you, Mom. My girlfriend's at work.
Oh my God, that's how it goes.
I'm on TV.
This is a certified hash brown moment.
Haven't heard that in a while.
I was like, I didn't play that. That was not me. That was the people.
Oh, was that the chat?
Yeah. Who do you think? Who do you think played that?
Oh, just a heads up, guys. The chat does like to play sound effects throughout the.
Oh, I've seen that's like a feature.
Yeah.
So, like, they redeem points and they'll play a random sound effect.
Just be like mid sentence and they'll
Yeah.
be like,
Yep.
yeah.
I had to change it earlier. It was like a couple weeks ago because people were just doing it way too quickly. And I'm like, okay, we had to.
cheap on the chat. So
Yeah.
we had to up it up.
Did they just do it? Do they have a price that they have to pay?
Yeah, our price was set really low. We were like, oh, no one's gonna spam that, and then they started spamming it.
They're gonna, yeah. Okay.
It's like every time. Thank you, Craig Kirby, for liking the stream. Hello. Like, we have people here. This is great. I love it. Love this.
Without further ado, guys, I appreciate you taking time to swinging by our studio, even though it's like the trip halfway down Ohio.
It's totally worth it. Thanks for having us.
I really appreciate the time. But let's start with you want to introduce yourself? No, kind of not where you come from, but you know.
Yeah, my name is Tristan Russano. I am the guitar player and one of the writers in the band Forge the Sun. We are based out of Detroit, Michigan. We are a progressive rock band, and we love to play music.
Oh, yeah.
Giddy up. Yeah, I'm Dave McKowen, and Tristan says manager. I don't manage a ton, but a little executive production and minimal amount of production. But
It's called efficient.
family business, right?
Yeah, when we
That's
need
right.
him, he's
Efficiency.
there.
Yeah.
Bat signal, yeah.
Tristan's my nephew, and Barrett, the bass player, is my son.
Oh,
okay.
nice.
That's pretty cool. And that brings me to I guess my next point is how did you guys all meet? So you're the nephew, right?
So yeah, I'm Dave's nephew,
Right.
and then Barrett's my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
So I've known Barrett since he was tiny little.
Wee
guy.
baby.
Wee baby.
Just a way, baby.
Wee baby. Yep. So I've known Barrett this pretty much his whole life, and then I met Allie. I teach music at a music school. It's Grosse Pointe Music Academy.
Okay.
And one of my coworkers that approached me one day and said, "Hey, I have this student who's really good at singing. She's got this really interesting voice. I really wanted to get out there and start performing. Do you know anybody that might be interested gigging and playing with her?" And I was like, "I'd be interested." And that's how we ended up connecting. Was I got her contact,
Oh, that's good.
and then we started playing. We're like, "Wow, it sounds really good as a duo." And we did the duo thing for about a little bit. We still gig as a duo. We'll play like cover gigs, and we'll do like original gigs, but an acoustic, unplugged rendition of our original music. But then we were like, "Oh, this would sound really cool with a full band." So I was studying music at the time at Wayne State. So for my like senior recital, I had like a jazz portion and like an avant-garde portion and like a classical portion, and then I had my rock band play.
Nice.
And Allie was singing, and we got at the time we had Matt Fickney play drums. He's a really good drummer in the Detroit scene. And then Ian Griffith on bass, and Allie on vocals, and then me on guitar. And we just played a couple tunes, but it was awesome. And we were like, "Oh man, we should make this a regular thing." So then let's see, Matt was in the band. He was down to be in the band. He's our first drummer, and like with rock bands, you always go through a bunch of drummers, right? That's the thing. I mean, just in drummers in general, I think, right? It's like, I think that's just an instrument. Like, when I know from teaching, like when kids are like, "I want to play drums," there's a lot of parents that are like, "No, you're not playing drums. It's too loud, dude."
My neighborhood's not gonna like that.
Exactly. So right there, it's like you get a lot of kids growing up who pick up guitar or bass. They're also easier to travel with, and just a lot of other practical reasons.
You gotta tell me twice how painful it is to travel with a drum kit.
Yeah, you're a drummer.
You're the first one to start setting up, and you're the last one packing up.
Absolutely. And it's loud too. It's very loud. You
right.
have to basically have a separate drum kit if you want to play quieter. I guess you could work on dynamics, but like, yeah. So Matt Fickney was our first drummer. He played on our song Nature, and he played on like our little demo EP that's on Spotify. So we had him on drums, me on guitar, Allie on vocals, and then Barrett. So I called Barrett up, and Barrett has always been like really good at music. Like, he's just one of those kids that's And I know from teaching a lot of kids and adults and stuff, I could tell when people are like really quick and naturals, and he's always been a natural. He's always been really quick. Now his principal instrument was cello. He's an all-state cellist. He was in high school. He was an all-state cellist. But I had taught him guitar once, and I was like teaching him, and I was like, well, that kid's getting it really fast. So I was just like, I'll give it a shot. I'll call him up and be like, so I call him up and I'm like, hey Barrett. He's like, what's up, man? And I'm like, I'm putting together a rock band. Have you ever played in one? He's like, no. I'm like, well, have you ever played bass? He's like, no. I'm like, okay, well, I know you're really good at cello. I know you're super talented. Would you want to play bass in this band? He was like, sure. And that's like, it was like a 3-minute conversation. And
well, that
that's
last sentence of the conversation was, you just have to learn these 38 songs
Yeah.
by tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, so then
That's
we
how
hit
it-
a-
that's
that
how
was
it
like-
always- that's how it
day
always
and a
goes,
half.
though.
Sorry,
apparently.
that was the next.
We
thing
know
I
people
had.
who've gone through that.
Yeah. Like, not
Baptized
stupid.
in
I like-
fire. Yeah.
Sounds like Schism. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Like,
that was-
the most difficult songs in the world.
That was later. That was the second
It
conversation.
was amazing.
Yeah, but and for sure, like he's a natural. So that's how the first incarnation of the band was formed. So and we've been playing for about 5 years together. Gone through a couple different drummers. Right now we got an awesome guy, Isaac Parsons, who's like he was in the band A Chronicle, really good metalcore band out of Detroit. And then another band, All We Fear. So it's like
I've heard of that one.
yeah, they're like metalcore, like really good, like proggy metalcore stuff. So it's cool.
He's a
Definitely.
legit human being.
He is incredible. Yeah, he's another talking about natural too. All of them are just really quick. So, but yeah, he gets things. It's great to teach because he kind of like, oh man, I can't wait to see what Isaac does with this.
Oh man.
So yeah, and that's the current incarnation of the band right now. So,
Yeah,
me, Isaac, Allie, and Barrett.
Yeah, I always bow my hat down to people that I can recognize. That I'm like, oh, like you were born with something, and all of us, the rest of us, have to practice.
I know,
Like, a
what
lot.
the hell, man.
Like a lot.
That wasn't part of the deal. Yeah,
I
exactly.
didn't get handed that card when I was born. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think it's also good character builder too. I know I was definitely not in that camp. I had to work very, very hard. I was okay being bad for not okay. I was patient being bad at my instrument for a few years because I realized like, okay, I'm having fun. I'm working as hard as I can at this.
Right.
It's not coming as fast as I want it to, but I'm going to continue working on it.
Right.
And you build a really good work ethic that way too.
Mhm.
Not that again, someone who's natural doesn't have, but like you learn right off the bat. You're like, oh, this is going to take some time.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, because you
learn
know when
instantly.
you're not a natural. That's not like a.
Mhm.
I might have the talent for it. No, you know if you do it.
And it's harder when you're used to getting everything like that, and then you come across that hump. And you're like, wait
Wait a
that's
minute.
not the way it's
This
supposed
is
to
new.
go. I'm
This is
supposed to
new.
get this. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, but yeah, that's how the band formed.
So you guys are currently 4, right?
4 people, yeah, like
Okay.
Led Zeppelin setup: drums, bass, guitar, and vocals.
That's pretty cool. I like that setup to a point too where it's not like 20 people in a band. You know what I mean? Like we were talking about Slipknot earlier, and it's like
Change to 10 people.
Yeah, it's like I like the band, but I'm sure we can get rid of some of these guys. You know what I mean? Like
Trim the
like,
fat a little bit.
trim
Yeah.
it a
That's
little
that
bit.
one. It's more like Cream with a guest singer.
Okay, cream of the gas. Well, I was just saying it like, yeah, okay. I'm not gonna argue with you. That's true. Yeah, that was spot on.
I'm just making smart.
That's a better that's a better description. I like
Yeah.
that. Cream with a guest singer. Okay.
No,
But you know, you're right. Yeah, some of these bands, like you're like, dude,
it's like come on, you can trim it down a little bit. You don't need a triangle player.
there's a theatrical element probably. You know,
I know you're not paying all those guys. I
Uh,
don't need that many people.
It's like you guys are getting paid.
it's the guy that hits the can makes as much money as
I was
the guy
going
that
to say,
plays
like, do we
guitar.
really need that guy? Like,
Yeah, I don't know,
he
man.
makes a good beat, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Just
Nah.
hits the can once every 4 songs.
Yep. Totally. So
Now, all 4 of you guys are you guys all from Michigan, or did you guys kind of
yep,
happen across each other's path?
we're all from Michigan. Yep. So yeah, that's how we kind of found each other. Again, like I've known Barrett because he's my cousin.
Mm.
Isaac was in the scene with his band, A Chronicle, and I've seen like that band was awesome. I think they're still gigging around and stuff and making music, but I had seen Isaac play with A Chronicle. Everybody in that band's just like juggernaut musicians. We had played on bills with them, so we'd like, oh, okay, cool, A Chronicle's on the bill. But then once I like heard them, I was like, holy cow, like these guys rock. And then I go out of my way to see them because they were that good. So that's how I discovered Isaac. He was just a peer in the scene.
I'm gonna have to write that band.
Oh yeah, they're awesome. They're really cool. Yeah, all the stuff I haven't heard a whole bunch of their newer stuff. I've heard a little bit of it. It's pretty good. But everything with Isaac on it, because when we were vetting for drummers and stuff, we kind of want to see like, do they have chops and stuff, and like, what's their style, or where are they coming from? Not even just that, like, what's their background? Right. All the drum work that Isaac did was nuts. But the guitar work super clean. Vocals are brutal, like really heavy, brutal vocals. Hooks though too. Like clean vocals as well. So
yeah, that's always one of the awkward settings where when you're in a band, it's like when you have to bring somebody new in, you got to go through that process of like, I like you as a person, but not as a musician. Like, and it's like where you have to kind of switch from like it's strictly just business. Like, yeah, like I like you, and I mean to a point you have to like the people you're in a band with, because you have to deal with them. But at the same time, it's like you have to kind of bring something to the table. You can't just because
yeah, there's a lot of elements. I mean, because you got to have like, and that's so you have to know that they can play. You have to know that they can play your music in a way that you like, because it's also not super. It's not always linear too. It's not like they might be an A+ musician, but like just not do your music the way you want it.
Right.
That's that's the tricky thing. That's like, dang, like I can't put my finger on it, but this just isn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you might have a lesser like technical music ability as someone else. But you do the music in a way that really fits it. You're choosing to do it in that way too, whether by choice or you just have to because you're limited. I don't know what it would be, but there's that. There's also chemistry too. You can't like put like really a price on that, because that's like so important. If you might be playing like one of the best drummers you've seen in a long time, or one of the best bass players or whoever, but there's no chemistry, like that can be really, really ugly, especially if it's like the opposite, where like, man, we make really good music together, but you can just tell everyone's pissed on stage. It's like, it's not good.
That never happens in music.
Oh, no, never. That never happens. Everyone's, it's sunshine and always, rainbows.
People always get along. People always get
kumbaya. Yeah, 100%. Totally. So, but no, everybody in the band's awesome. And everyone gets along with each other. That's huge. Like we love, like when we go out of state, I really like going out of state and playing shows. Last show we played was Milwaukee.
Really?
Yeah, we played a show. It was about a couple months ago. We played with this band called Stone Theory. Really cool, like 70s-ish, kind of like hippie, kind of psychedelic band. They're really cool. We played in Milwaukee, and like for me, it's really fun going out town and playing, because you're playing for new people, all the stuff that comes with like a new city. But also, I really like hanging out with everybody in the band. Everyone's really chill. Right. It's not intense. Like it's chill. Like everyone's. And it's interesting too, because we all kind of we're all like pretty unique individuals. Like, I don't mean that out of arrogance. I just mean we're all kind of coming from different places, but we all really mesh with each other really well, and we all like hanging out with each other. And I look forward to trips like that. It feels like vacation for me.
Sure, it's fun. It's like a fun vacation.
We went to the dude, and then like when you go to places, you find out like where's the good places to eat.
That's the best way to do it.
Oh my god, dude, we went to like this place called like the Cheese Kingdom or something. And it was so good, dude. Oh my god, Cheese Castle.
What do they offer?
Every kind of cheese your heart could desire.
Cheese Kingdom sounds like a regular show.
They had this one cheese. They had this one cheese that was infused with chickadoodle soup. Dude,
what the?
Hang on.
I know, dude. And like, it was the best grilled cheeses that I've ever made. Oh my god, so good, dude. Oh, it was so good. But then, then the show was fun too. Like, the show was good. Yeah, exactly. So, everyone's personality and playing ability. It's just, they check all the boxes, which is really makes playing in the band really fun too.
Yeah, you reminded me when I went to what's the name of that city? That German city up north.
Frankenmuth.
Oh, Frankenmuth. Yeah, the Bavarian chicken.
Yeah, so where they got that cheese store.
Oh, big cheese. The cheese house.
Yeah,
cheese
so mouse, I bought the what was it? The chocoate cheese.
Oh yeah,
I hated it.
Really?
It was the worst.
I'm a glutton. Sorry, I'm a glutton, dude. Yeah, you could have said anything. I'll eat pretty much any cheese, but yeah, no, you didn't like it?
And then I went the next time, and the next time I went, I didn't see it.
The cheese, like the cheese store, or the chocolate cheese?
Like the actual chocolate.
Do you think you were responsible for them discontinuing?
No. I just happened to be like, where is it? Like, what happened? Did people were not buying it?
That's niche. Yeah, I could see where it would just be like not worth making. But I love that store. Is it like it's the one with the mouse on it, right?
Yeah.
I love that store.
Dude, anything you buy in there, it's like guaranteed. Like, I'm probably not gonna. I'm gonna waste half of this.
Yeah, no.
You
the
get
cheese
back home
there.
and then you're like, oh, I didn't use any of that cheese. At least for me.
Yeah, no, I do love that store. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, because you end up shopping with your eyes. You're like, that looks good. That looks good.
Yeah,
every time.
And then you put it in the drawer. It's like, oh, forgot about it.
Yeah, a couple months go by and you're like, those cheese curds don't look as good.
You really got to buy as much cheese as you're able to eat. I mean,
Right.
let's have some forethought here.
Got to come in with a plan
I
here.
haven't gotten to that part of
Yeah.
adulting yet where I buy exact quantities of what I'm actually going to use.
Dude,
I'm 29, man.
I had like a grilled cheese every day for like 5 days in a row with that chicken noodle soup infused grilled
Oh,
cheese.
man.
I felt like
Dude, we
dog
gotta
shit
add that to the
after
list,
like
dude.
the third day, and I couldn't stop because it tastes really good too.
Yeah, your colon
man.
is probably like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, exactly. Peace, dude. Yeah, it's bad. So, but it was but yeah, that's everybody gets along with each other really well, and everybody can really play the hell out of their instruments, which is cool.
Oh yeah, it's always that's a definite plus when people just actually are able to get along doing anything, because nowadays it's a little weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But what's in that same point, everybody's kind of coming from different paths of life. What are some of the influences you guys have? So I know kind of like it's hard for me to compare you guys. I hate comparing artists to another artist, but with you guys, I can't pick another one that's remotely. At least I probably got to listen to more music, but like what influences are you guys kind of influenced by and kind of shooting in the direction of?
Yeah, I mean, there's commonalities for sure across. Like, I think we all like Alice in Chains.
Sure.
I think we all kind of do like grunge and stuff, like hard rock. But I'm a big we all come from totally different. Not totally. I don't know. That's a strong word. We come from very different, musical tastes. I think too. Not just like in general, but where we are in life too. Like, I really like hardcore music, but that's something I got into over the last couple of years. Nobody else is really taking that journey with me. I was trying to get Barrett, into the hard. Not really. But like, I think that's what's unique about our band is like I'm really into for the most part 70s music from the 70s. I really like blues rock. I really like jazz. I like guys like B.B. King and Albert King. I like bands like Yes and Kansas and Jeff Beck and Black Sabbath is one of my. That's a band I got into actually later, in my early mid-20s. My girlfriend got me this box set, and I just was like, no, I knew a couple deep cuts, but there was 35 songs on it, so I'm like, all right, I got super into Black Sabbath, and Black Sabbath is still one of my favorite bands. So they're up there. Genesis with Peter Gabriel. So I really like a lot of the late 60s and 70s stuff. I like the rock music that came out of Detroit, like Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels and Cactus and the Frost. These are bands that they didn't necessarily sell out, and they probably still they didn't sell at giant arenas, but they had a couple big hits, and people I think kind of forgot about them. And I did some digging on my own. I was like, oh my god, these are
Rockets.
The Rockets, yeah, the Rockets. Who I read somewhere, I think the artist for a lot of those albums also did artwork for the Grateful Dead. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, so
well, the guy who was doing all the concert posters for the Grandy was doing a lot of those posters.
There you go, yeah. MC5, stuff like that. But I also, again, a lot of jazz music too. Barney Kessel is one of my favorite guitar players. He's a jazz guitar player. Mm-hmm. I like Rush. Rush is up there for sure too, dude. Early Rush. But and then Isaac has this metalcore punk background, but that guy could play anything, right? And I'm not going to go into too much detail because if he was here, he could probably tell you a lot more. But Allie's really into I would say she really likes Evanescence and she likes heavier stuff too, but she's really into the 2000s rock stuff. Was it Sleep Token? She really likes Sleep Token. She's got a band called Sharp Lives. They did a really killer cover of a Sleep Token song. Oh. So she likes the down-tuned guitars and the big, deep, thick sounding guitar that you hear with a lot of modern metal. And then Barrett's not here, but you certainly had a huge part of his influence growing up. So how would you describe?
What? No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, right. No, yeah. Well, I mean,
I played stuff all the time, but I never really forced him into stuff. I wasn't always oh my god, you gotta listen to this. I was mostly you're sitting in the car, so you're definitely listening to this. Early on, a lot of the things that you just mentioned, right? Rush, Queens of the Stone Age. I
know he likes Nirvana a lot. Yeah,
all that
Nirvana,
stuff,
Soundgarden.
Yeah, all that stuff. And I think that, that sound is... all of those recordings were made at, a new incantation of the sound studio that Grohl bought that Neve board from
Sound City.
What was that movie? Yeah, Sound City.
Yeah.
Right? All those records were made at Sound City.
Mhm.
Like that big sound, that big open room, that giant analog board is just a rebirth of, the early 70s and those kinds of recordings.
Mm-hmm.
They just sound huge. It's like you don't have to apply that much reverb. You get a lot of that stuff naturally, and great drum rooms. So those bigger sounding bands, I think, I don't want to quote. Barrett has a great ear, and he marches to his own beat for sure. He listens to a lot of good stuff, and so I'm not going to put all those bands out there for him.
Yeah, so
you should call him. Let me give you his
Call
number.
him.
Hold on.
Get him on the line.
Okay, it's 3.
I was gonna say we haven't had that in a while.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's cool because we're all coming from very different places, but we're all able to agree to and make something that we're all really proud of, and that I feel is very original. And it reminds me of like one of the bands I really love is Jane's Addiction. That's one of my in the last couple of years, that's become one of my favorite bands. I think Dave Navarro is super underrated guitar player. But there was an interview, I think it was with Perry Farrell, and he said if we all listened to metal, we would just be another metal band, right? Everyone in this band listens to something different. Like Perry Farrell's idol was I think he said James Brown, right? And Dave Navarro was really into LA metal, hair metal, and the drummer's really into grunge, and the bass player's into funk or whatever. So the point is, you put all that stuff together and you make an amalgamation, and you get something that's new. You get a new flavor, right? So I really like when bands do that, and I'm glad we're trying to do that. I think we are doing that pretty well. So
yeah, well, I think that's the absolute beauty of music. It's if music never changed, then we would just be stuck back in whatever music was before rock and roll even came out.
Yeah, or even before that.
We would just be circling around circles. We wouldn't have no iterations of anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's wonderful because you don't know what's going to be the dominating next force. Right now, I can say that in the last 10 years, kind of hip hop overtook rock. And at least in the main stage.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because I remember when I was in the early 2000s, well, 2010s ish,
okay.
Rock concerts and stuff like that was still pretty standard and EDM kind of sneak in, and then you got your hip hop and rap.
Mm-hmm.
But now I feel like this was we're in a weird spot to where anything goes. I don't know if you guys were aware of some Mexican artists were actually in the charts in America last year, at the top of the charts, not in there at number one spots, which to me blows my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you have something that's not even from this country can dominate, I'm sure you guys are familiar with K-pop.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
that has its own massive audience due to the internet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I really admire what you guys are doing with not just being another we're a variation of Metallica cover band.
Yeah.
And it's because anybody can do that. No disrespect to people.
Metallica will do it better though, right?
Right. And it's when you try to do your own thing, just it's admirable. It's the reason you guys are here. I really like you guys, and want to.
I like you too, Brian.
Yeah.
You too, Mario. Don't
love
something
that.
going on. You're awesome too, man.
But you guys said you've been together for not the current lineup, but since the origin, you guys been going at it for 5 years?
Yep, 5 years.
And those 5 years so far, what's one of the things or events, either good or bad, that are going to stick with you for the rest of your life?
Let's see. There's so much good. Every day is a gift. Life is great. God is good, right? But
Amen.
even with the bad, there's been good. I'd say with the good, we made an awesome record thanks to Dave. Dave financed the record. I'm super proud of it. It would not have happened without Dave, and super grateful for that. You guys can check that out on Spotify.
You put in the work.
Yeah, but I think it's no secret too. You could have a lot of talent, and you could have a lot of practice. You could work really hard, and if you don't have financial muscle, you don't have certain opportunities that financial muscle creates, it can make things a lot harder, or sometimes almost impossible, right, depending on how you look at it. So being part of a really awesome record that I'm proud of, that's huge. And you learn about compromising. You learn about like like we just mentioned, like, oh yeah, people arguing and music and everything. Like, yeah, you run into stuff like that, but also it makes you stronger. It's kind of like a bone that breaks. Actually, no, I've heard it feels back worse. That's not a great example. It's kind of like a rubber band. It's a rubber band. You know, it's like you realize how strong it is because of the amount of pressure that's being applied, and it still doesn't snap. You're like, oh, you know, like, we're going to be okay. This is cool. All right, sweet. We can get to that point, have some disagreements or whatever, and we're still cool with each other. So that's something to be really grateful for, too. So, and you grow as a person and all that. So, that's the good, I would say. A lesser good would be when you're a musician. This is more has to do with like business. We had a gig once where we drove pretty far out, not like crazy far, but like an hour and a half, and we drove to Toledo. I won't mention the venue or anything, but we drove all the way to Toledo, and it was snowing, and like. We didn't leave until 2 a.m, and we'd found out we were basically kind of running around in circles trying to figure out how we were supposed to get paid. And we found out that the person who had our money ran off with it. Oh, and we were cheated like $400, like everything was like $300 or $400.
You were watching,
so you need to write contracts, and also like if you like you think you trust people, and then you learn the hard way. It's just not professional too. Like you should have a contract written up so you don't get screwed over. But there's a really old quote that goes, you only learn through pain, right? You can say I get it, you can say I understand, but when you get burned, that's when you really learn. So now we know not to ever do something like that. That makes you better professional. It makes you better at how to go about playing a show like that. Right. So
it's kind of like how the saying goes, if you do it twice, it's by choice.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how the saying goes.
Yeah, because if we do that again, we get screwed over. What are we going to do?
Like, it was kind of on purpose. Like,
exactly.
The first time is like...
Welcome to the Mixed Metaphor Hour.
Hello.
I think.
Drop it. No names, but y'all know who you are.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, really like both business and like just artistic lessons for sure, and also just a lot of awesome stuff. So,
with the money and contracting aside, what are the difficulties that you find yourself during live shows, like, or just being in a band in general?
Oh, the worst is when my string breaks, dude. I hate that. I break so many guitar strings, dude. I play 11s, and that's always like, damn it. I love my guitar. It's my favorite guitar. Right. It's my favorite guitar I've ever played. It's my Sheraton Epiphone semi-hollow body. I love that guitar, and people always see it, and I had one guy. So it's it's the guitar with the 2 F holes.
Is that the one you got on?
No, that's an acoustic. I should have brought that one, but it's like if you watch like videos of the Beatles playing, and they have those like, they almost look like violins, right? Because they have the F holes, the holes.
Oh yeah.
And so I had one guy tell me, dude, I saw that hollow body, and I'm not gonna lie, I thought this was gonna suck. Because like people don't, it's a really underrated guitar, and it kicks ass, but a lot of people don't play it, and when they do, it's not a forgiving guitar. You sound like yourself, you know. When you play a Strat or you play a Les Paul, it sounds like you're playing a Strat. It sounds like you're playing a Les Paul. It sounds like when you play a hollow body, it's very exposed. So when I break a string and I'm like, damn it, like I gotta go use my backup. Like I just get like because I really like that guitar, even though I have a backup. So that's probably one of the just surface level like most annoying inconveniences. Trying to think what else. I don't know. You've witnessed a lot of shows. That's probably, that's up there for sure.
I think that covers it.
Yeah, if you're trying to kick off the set, and there's like a drunk person that's like, play Wagon Wheel or whatever, you're like, dude, like,
play Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. Stereo, exactly. And you're like, oh. So, but no, I have the most fun I have in life really is on stage. Like I have a really good time. If anyone's seen us live, they can tell I'm enjoying myself. So it's usually all pretty good, but that would probably be the worst, is breaking a string. Yeah.
Have you guys had any issues with like either sound checks or like something that might have gone wrong on stage besides like a string breaking? That was like out of your control per se.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say someone just didn't learn their part.
Did a speaker combust? Who knows?
Like the insane water that was coming out of the ceiling.
That's like,
although that wasn't one of your
guys. That wasn't one of my shows. Yeah, one of ours. Yeah.
It was crazy.
It's something that's out of my control. I can't really think of it. Maybe if a monitor, we've had monitors go down, but like,
I mean,
I
that's
don't
just-
really
that-
rely on the monitor. I'm
yeah.
always counting and feeling. As long
Right.
as I can feel the drums, I'm pretty good. Like that's another thing I think I really like about that era of the '70s. Everything's like so like just plug in and play, man. It comes from your fingers, dude. You know, that's kind of how I approach like playing and stuff. Like I should know it well enough where if I don't have any feedback from the monitor, like I should still play
You should still
very
kinda know
well,
where
yeah.
you're at, yeah.
It's pretty
So-
tough to rattle him or Barrett, so it's like that's a tough question for them to answer. They're like, no, everything's pretty good usually most of the time.
That's the safe spot. Like the stage is usually like maybe stuff before. You know, we've had like we're trying to put a banner up and like the sound guy is like juggling a bunch of other stuff, you know, and we're like, oh god, you know, and like we'll go on in like 5 minutes, and we already have a really simple setup. No one uses any pedals. I use my volume knob on my guitar so I don't
Oh,
use
is that right?
Yeah, dude, I love that. That's my favorite.
I've seen some people setups, and if you don't even have one pedal, that's
Yeah, they have a pedal board the size of this table.
yeah, dude,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like wild. So you
$2,000.
guys just do it raw.
Oh, you're doing it raw. We're doing it live. We're doing it raw.
It's not like a safe sex commercial.
So yeah, no, I dude, yeah, and I see the pedals does take like it. There's an art to it,
Mhm.
so it's not. I'm not even like like poo pooing it. Like it's
Right.
tricky. Like people kind of shit on that the Edge, the guitar player from U2.
Mm.
That it's like okay, you try to do that. You try to maneuver around this whole complex system. It's a different muscle. All right, my muscle for that is pretty weak because I don't use pedals. But I don't want to put myself in a position where I know I'll be very, very vulnerable or like just totally like I won't be able to help myself if one little pedal goes out and then the whole board, like I've seen that where like
I die because
the whole thing gets killed because it's like you'll see the guitar players freaking out. They're like unplugging and trying to. So I don't see it's necessary for the music, but also like if you had that in there, it's like, dude, I don't want to risk that happening.
right.
So I try to make the sounds with my fingers. Also, when you're in music school too and you're performing, you get graded on how loud you are. You will get downgraded if you're too loud. You have to use dynamics.
Right.
And you can use the volume. We're special because we have volume knobs on our guitar. Also, a good thing that guitar players can try that's a really good exercise is turn your volume all the way up and try to play as quiet as possible. Turn your
I've
volume
never tried
all the
that.
way down, play as hard as you can. Something in the middle, you know what I mean? And
Right.
see, like, you will find that your dynamic range is huge. You don't need a pedal. So that's what I like to do.
Huh.
And I'll use my tone knob too. I have my like I'll go to the neck pickup the neck pickup will be at like, out of 10, it's at 2 for the volume. So, and then when I want something really bright and loud and ass kicking, bridge pickup, volume's at 10, boom, right, and that just punches. And the band picks up on it too. They can hear if I get loud. If I get loud, they're gonna respond.
They'll
to that.
follow,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, and we've been in situations where I'm not playing dynamic, like really early on, and it affects the whole band too. We didn't come up when we needed to come up. We didn't come down when we needed to. It's just kind of the thing. So, yeah, that's all I really got for like stage chaos.
Okay.
I guess. I don't
No, to kind of keep it on equipment, I've only really personally like dealt with anything that's drum related, on mics.
Yeah.
But I don't have to worry about anything like gain, or anything like that on an amplifier. So to kind of not, since you don't use pedals, but you obviously don't play just acoustic sets, right?
Yeah,
So
no.
how do you go about like setting up your amp?
I just I've got my Boss Katana, and I've got my favorite tone is like the Ted Nugent guitar tone. Like I really love, like it's dirtier than AC/DC, just a hair dirtier than the AC/DC guitar tone. And that feels like kind of what Ted Nugent would play with, but not super distorted. I like being able to access that feedback. So I find that on my amp, I just I'll go on stage, make sure it's the level of distortion I want, and then what I do is I turn my volume on my amp up louder than maybe I want to start the song off. If it's a quieter song, I'm not going to play that loud. So what I'll do is I'll turn it up the maximum amount I might find myself needing. And then I turn my volume on my guitar down. So we're doing sound checks, and the sound guy's like, "You need to turn way down." It's because I'm at the max volume. So what I'll do is I'll turn my guitar down a little bit. If they're like, "Sounds good," I'll be like, "All right, that's the volume I should be playing when it's like medium."
Right.
When it
And
sounds
then 2 songs in,
and then
you
2 songs,
just release the house.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't interrupt anyone.
Yeah, it's exactly at that point. It's like,
Dude doing sound. What happened?
Yeah. He's going to get a Jack and Coke. I'm gonna
Yep,
try.
exactly, dude. So, but Yeah, that's how I go about it. It's just kind of about 5 minutes of just if there's anything that needs to be tweaked. Sometimes, most of the time, it's just like, oh, cool, like a plug right in. It's the sound I want. So,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's pretty clean overall.
yeah. I mean, always room for improvement, but
Yes,
Yeah.
sometimes like I've seen some musical acts have like too much going on at once, where it's like it's hard for me to distinguish what is what. And I play music. I can't imagine like the regular, just the public setting
yeah,
of like trying to see what I'm looking at. I'm like, if I'm struggling to keep up with what's going on stage,
yeah.
what is everybody else thinking? Because once you become a musician, you kind of see music in a different way.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because I even before I played music, I was one of those people that can't, like, if you're singing, I don't know what you're saying for some reason. My
Brains on the melody.
yeah, my brain immediately goes to every single instrument of what's going on,
Okay, yeah.
and it only got worse when I like actually got into music. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like I would have people tell me about, like, for example, I'll give you an example. You guys heard of Foster the People's Pumped Up Kicks?
Yeah, all the other
Yeah,
kids
I had
were
that.
pumped up. Yeah.
I found what the song was about because I like actually read the lyrics by accident once,
You're like school
and
shooters.
I never knew it was about a school shooter. bro.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm sure
So
a lot
you're
of
literally, he's the one that likes all their pretty songs.
Yeah.
Don't know what it means.
Yes, literally.
Literally.
I'm that person, dude.
Wow.
That's
You
funny.
really should read that shit.
So now
See
when I
the
see
stuff
like
in
a
there.
song that I really like catchy, one of
Yeah.
the first things I do, I like go like, well, what are they saying in the track?
Yeah.
And I have to physically pull up the lyrics separately.
Yep.
And yeah,
No, I feel you on that. You kind of want to like almost prioritize. I think there is an art to like being able to mend both, but like my brain likes to really hear the notes and like focus on the notes
Mm.
of the melody. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And the rhythm and the note choices, and then I have to like be like, all right, no, but I'm trying to memorize like the words, or I'm trying to understand the word. Like,
I was never good at like trying to memorize any song, like even popular songs that you're supposed to know the lyrics to. I have no idea.
oh yeah, it's hard because sometimes you don't hear it right too.
Right.
That's a whole phenomenon. So yeah, right on.
Yeah. No, what's Megan? What's one of the things that that besides music, because you know we know that you guys are obviously a band.
Yeah.
What's one of the things besides that? And I don't know if you guys have day jobs per se, but what's something you like to do in your free time that's not a band per se?
I love Lions football.
There you go.
Oh my god,
That's-
I love
my boy,
Lions.
my
Yeah.
boy. Let's
Dan
go.
Campbell's kneecaps,
Yes.
dude. Oh my god, I'm a nut job. Anyone who and people in the music, we have a whole like little thing too going on. I talked to my friend Kyler who runs 0 and 1 Studios, which is a great music studio. He also does production with film and like audio that's not music related. Him and we have a group that we're getting together of just like musicians that love Lions football, dude. And so like that's one of my favorite things with football. I grew up playing football, played it all through high school. Thought I was going to do football in college. And the music thing worked out. So I was like, all right. And I'm happy that happened, but like something that's really close to my heart. Lions are finally.
He turned down offers, this kid.
I'm.
He did.
Could have been in the NFL.
I could have been, dude. I'm not trying to. This turns into an Uncle Rico thing, dude. I can't.
I get that.
Back in
feeling,
the
too.
day, I could have thrown this football over those mountains.
I did the same thing. I was
Dude,
like,
that's totally. I'm not gonna like.
It's literally me in high school foot. Like, I could have played football. I could have been a punter. And I probably could have went somewhere with this.
I could have
But
been
I don't know.
somebody.
I stuck to soccer, and that was it.
I don't know, man. I try not to. It just I ended up
He was
sounding
a
like a
beast in
burnout.
the
It sounded like a
tackle.
burnout, dude. I can't. But I love football, so like that's probably my favorite thing is football outside of music. And the Lions are finally good too. Like
They
it's just
finally-
like
See, I'm a new Lions fan.
oh
Yeah, he's-
bandwagon.
Well, he's not a
Welcome.
sports guy really in general.
I don't
so
like-
it was just kind of.
You're part of a cultural phenomenon though,
He is.
which is cool because that's again this never happened. Like the last time this was happening was like the early '90s, and that didn't happen for another like 35 years
Like
or like 30 years or something like that. Yeah.
I'm knowledgeable enough to know that they sucked really bad. So when I heard him like, hey, you know, they won another game, and then they won another game, and I was like, wait a minute, did you say playoffs? I'm like, I've never heard that in the Lions vocabulary ever. I'm like, and then I started
weren't
seeing them
born.
play, and I was like, oh my god, like this is quite interesting. But now I'm like, now I'm setting up for myself for disappointment.
Yeah, dude. It's have you seen?
Oh, you haven't experienced that yet.
No,
You're
you
lucky.
haven't, dude. You're like coming, and I'm happy for you. That's good.
Right.
You saved. I mean, I have a lot of gray hairs from the Lions, dude. I have so like, there's this. Have you ever seen those Pure Michigan commercials?
Oh,
where
those
it's
are
like
great.
they have
Actually,
spoof
yes.
ones, and it's like the saddest words in living in Michigan isn't I lost my job or, I had a bad day. It's I'm a Lions fan.
Mm-hmm. That's a great video.
And that was like, that wasn't too long ago. It's just a history of like incompetence at one after another. And it's so sad you get these guys who the bodies just are completely broken because they were on teams where they were like, they had the team on their back. Like Calvin Johnson, like, dude, his knees are completely gone, dude. I think he sells like weed now.
He
I think
does.
that's his thing.
He
Yeah, he
eats
sells
the weed, yeah.
Yeah, because probably part of it was like, oh man, like my body's completely
yeah.
kaput. Here's this thing that make me
Makes
money
a
and
lot
also
better.
works for me.
Right.
But yeah, no, now it's like you have a team, you have a culture, you have an identity. My favorite Lion is Dan Campbell. He's my favorite Lion. And anyone who goes, they always go, that's true. Yeah, he is.
He used to play. He did play for us before.
He did play. It's poetic. It's awesome. He's the fallen angel, right? Actually, Jared Goff's the fallen angel. Yeah. He fell the LA Rams. They threw him out, right? They cast him out. They cast him out of the kingdom. He fell. And then they got Stafford.
Does that mean that we're like the netherworld? Like...
We might be, but our time is going. And he fell. He fell out, and they won their Super Bowl. And now Jared
So Goff in this story, Goff is Beelzebub.
Yeah, and McVay's looking, and he's like, "What the hell is that?" And the horse trotting gets louder, and it's Jared Goff with his army of lions. They're like, "Oh my god!" And he's on a hotter ticket. Like he's more of. I think he's got a better team around him. I think he's a better quarterback in my opinion. Stafford was here, win shit like at all. He had 12 years. There was a lot of moments.
He's making a lot of fantasy people happy.
He's making a lot of fantasy people happy, but like. I love it. It's so poetic. And then yes, you got Dan Campbell who played for the Lions. He was on the Owen. There was a year where we didn't win one game.
No, I remember that.
Okay, yeah,
I remember that.
I was at the game. The first one we won the next season.
Oh,
yeah.
Was it against the Redskins?
I bet that was like Nirvana. That's like
row.
That's definitely a high. That's a high.
Front row.
That's for
in
sure.
The visitors section. So Washington fans all around me, and I'm right on the pylon with my son Parker. Oh. It was amazing.
That must have been
the
loudest I've ever heard of.
That was at Ford Field. Yeah,
amazing.
Oh my god. So yeah, Lions football, man. And it's crazy. Every year you'll see people that'll be like, they get tattoos and it'll be like Lion, and it'll have the number of the Super Bowl before they win, and you're like, dude,
I
you're
can't
playing with
imagine
fire here,
the dude that did that last year though.
Oh,
because he was like, "Oh my god, they might be a chance." And then
there was a great chance. We were one game away.
Yes.
One game away, one win. Yeah. So, but yeah, Lions football. So what about you, Dave? What do you like to do outside of managing Forge the Sun?
I'm a vintage audio equipment guy, so I love all things vintage audio. So speakers, amps, turntables, cassette decks. I got a ton of it, and open it up and fix it and sell it sometimes. Ooh. So I definitely want to sell it. It's just don't get around to it sometimes.
Yeah, you get a lot of cool stuff.
I love that stuff like a lot. So that's a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, some of those hobbies can get really expensive.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Dude, no.
Yeah.
It depends.
Dude.
Oh, yeah.
I'm also into vintage action figures. So
collectibles,
not action figure, they're collectibles. Talk about expensive, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And it's in our guest room too. So when people stay, I'm like,
I don't think it's the guest room anymore.
Oh, dude, no, it's not. And people are like, I'm like, I hope you like Godzilla, dude, because there's like a whole wall of it, dude.
What's your most valuable?
My most like collectible. I have a Wolverine #1 that's CGC graded. It's 9.8.
Oh, what's your address?
It's not even there. You can try. It's not there.
There's a fake one there.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's a decoy.
He swapped it.
It's a decoy.
Yeah, so that's probably my most valuable like collectible because it's the most like the first appearance of Wolverine is when he's fighting Hulk. Mm-hmm. That's like insane. You could buy a couple houses if like with even one that's in poor condition. Like those go on eBay and you look. So I don't have that one. I have the first. He has his own series. The one where he's like this and he's got his claws up.
Okay.
But it's a 9.8 grade, which means it's almost like perfect.
Right.
And it's like it's in a protective case. It's in a protective like plastic around it that they like seal shut on it.
Jesus.
So that one's probably
it's like retinal scanners.
Oh, totally, dude. There's like laser. I have like security lasers
on
around it. Yeah, totally. So yeah, that's probably my most valuable one.
Do you happen to be a fan of Godzilla?
I'm a huge fan of Godzilla.
What'd you think of the newest movie?
Oh,
not the American one, the minus.
This is
one.
the best Godzilla film ever made. It's the best Godzilla
film
ever made.
Statement.
I can support it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was definitely my favorite one.
It was like if Christopher Nolan applied himself and made a movie about Godzilla, dude.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Have
And
you
I
seen
love
it
the
yet?
color
I
palette.
still haven't.
Ah,
Isn't it? It's on Netflix now, so I should be able to just go and
Come on,
watch it
bro.
whenever.
Yeah, it's Godzilla -1. It's really good. I mean, I saw it twice. Went with my girlfriend. She fell asleep the first time for the last third of the movies, and then she got to watch the whole thing.
I went by
Second
myself,
time-
dude. I invited my girlfriend to go to the
Yeah.
movies for -1, and I was like, nah, I'm going. There's no, it's a buts. Like,
Oh, it's
you
so
want to be
good,
home?
dude.
All right, cool. I'll be at the movies.
And I love like little like the big change too with his like laser breath is it's a nuclear bomb, right?
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
kind of have also like the momentum of
Spoiler
fallout.
alert.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
sorry.
God.
Well, it's not really. It's on the
I mean,
trailer.
I know.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
I
pretty
know.
sure it's in the
I'm
commercial.
like,
I'm
it's
a
fine.
purist with that, though. Come on. You can't just be throwing that out there. Someone in the audience is like,
That's it. I'm done.
oh,
listening
never
to
again
a
with
nice-
this
I
podcast.
know,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
We lost a ton of views.
Yeah.
Yep, we're gonna end it now. Bye. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
So, yeah, that was just they made his breath like a nuclear bomb, and like I don't know, he's also evil again, which is cool because you got the yin and yang. You have like,
He's supposed to be evil.
yeah, but he's also a good guy though.
Yeah.
Like the first era, the Showa era, he turned into a good guy. He was like, you know, protector, role model for like. There was even a point where he's like palling around with like he's like almost like a superhero.
You know, that was some
Character,
asshat
little
producer
kid.
that was like, why is he got to be a bad guy?
Well,
I could sell more t-shirts
just look
if
at
he
the
was a
newest
good guy.
American incarnation.
and then you've got
He's
that
like
one.
running around
Yeah,
like
it's
he's
awesome.
a fighter. Like, I mean, I'm not saying it's bad,
Oh no, it's
but
bad, but
but
it's awesome.
on the surface, it's like it's a
It
lot of
doesn't-
destruction, dude.
you get the one that doesn't take itself seriously, and then you get the one that's like a
From
Nolan
the
film.
mother, from the
Yeah.
mother.
Exactly. So I like it because if you watch the first like 50, it's like the first 12 Godzilla films, dude, it's like they don't know if they want to be serious or make it for kids or serious.
Right.
Like it's bizarre. So I like how it's history's repeating itself cinematically.
Well, I think what was the name of that one that kind of brought it back to that Shin Godzilla?
Oh, Shin Godzilla. Yeah,
I personally like that.
did you like that one?
a lot,
I thought it was okay. I know, like it was definitely like I you know that shinned, so we could -1. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
without Shin, I don't think you get -1. Because once they made Shin, they were like, oh, okay, there is like a demand for like serious, like intense Godzilla.
Right.
That's evil. But you know, Shin was good. But yeah, -1 is like. I've seen all the Godzilla movies, dude. That's the best one. Like, I mean, I don't know. There's a level of patience that you have to have watching Godzilla because you got all these characters you don't care about.
Right.
Like, dude, just show me the monsters. I cared about the characters, dude. I
Right.
actually care. I was like, damn, dude.
That
like,
was a nice curveball because again, I'm not a. I guess you can consider I'm a bandwagon
casual
fan.
Yeah.
You know, I remember seeing some of the Godzilla films, like the black and white, when I was in Mexico.
Yeah.
So there was very limited contact on, you know, being a kid also.
Yeah.
But the first Godzilla movie that I really watched was that American Incarnation. From,
Oh, with Matthew Broderick in
Yeah.
1998. Yeah.
And I remember
Me too.
I remember liking the physical, like destruction and like
Mhm.
the plot to a point, but it was like, it don't hit like the ones from Japan. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they visually look better, but it was like, nah, there's something about that. Dun, 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 you know, like,
Right.
right. And then when I finally, you know, I only saw Shin Godzilla like maybe 2 years ago, a year ago, and I'm like, oh my god, why did I miss this? But it's again, you happen to live in a small ecosystem, and then when they announced that the other one was coming to America, I was like, oh. This is gonna be it. That's it.
Yeah, I like it because it's like you get it's two dramatically different cultures too. I mean, if you just like Japan versus like the American, you know, cinema, which I like. I like how you can have both. I like how you can have both at the same time. I
Right.
feel like there was a period in cinema where people were like, we can't have the same character in two different timelines or like unrelated movies.
Right.
Like, I feel like that was going on, like the whole like the way they're able to have like Venom have his own movies. Not that I'm saying those are good movies,
Right,
but
right.
like and then like have the Marvel movies going on and not necessarily.
They're not tied
Yes,
as much.
like-
Yeah.
I feel like for a period people were afraid to do that. They were like, it has to be the same.
They weren't afraid to do it.
Right.
Disney
That's-
bought it and said, fuck that. We're just going to do
There you
it.
go.
Right,
Okay,
right,
so you have
right.
one guy
Yeah.
calling the
Right.
shots. Yeah.
Shout out
okay.
to Madam Web.
Well, Sony owns Venom, or does Disney own Sony? Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. That was terrible, dude. That was pretty bad.
Oh my god.
I like
it was
the
so bad.
Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider. That was my
Who's
favorite.
ready? Who's ready for a crazy?
God damn it, somebody finally-
bro.
That's a
I
great
don't
one.
care if he's like 70. make a third one.
Oh yeah,
So it can be the actual sequel, not that Spirit with Vengeance bullshit.
yeah.
Who's ready for Kraven the Hunter?
Oh, dude, I forgot that even came out. I was like, oh, man, the trailer looks kind of. Did it even come? Did it?
It hasn't come out
Oh,
yet,
really?
no.
Okay. The Morpheus. That was the one where I was
Yeah,
like, dude, I
that's-
didn't even realize that movie came out. I was just.
It looked interesting.
I just
but-
watched the
I
trailer.
forgot about that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah,
but
all the writers went on strike, but Disney's just like, just put it out there.
Yeah.
Really, we don't have to write it.
Yeah.
Just have them write it on the set.
Or have
Or after the fact, just film it and then we'll just dub it over.
Write it. Or write it as yeah.
Yeah, that's hey. Yeah.
So
Oh, man.
yeah.
It's beautifully bad.
Okay,
I
right
like
on.
movies like that though. So
Beautifully bad, yeah.
kind of like the Disaster Artist.
Oh yeah, I got to meet Tommy Wiseau. I got
Oh.
yeah, I watched it. I went to my girlfriend and I. We went to a showing of The Room in Royal Oak. I got to meet him. He's a character, dude. It's wild. So, but it was, it's cool. He kind of made it like inspirational. He's like, if I can do this, you can do it too. And then
Like,
roll
they're
the
making
film.
fun of you. That's the point. Though.
Yeah, but it's like
Kinda like that
in a
Hot
way,
Chili
I mean, he's a huge success in more ways than I think not, because he's iconic and he's
Right.
he did make
I
money
did not
doing it.
hit.
You got to make more movies because of that, right? Because that was such a like cultural like cult classic. You got to make more Tommy Wiseau level films. Yeah, I mean, and then imagine the royalties too from Disaster
Oh my
Artist.
God.
Like that,
Dude.
he's a success. I don't care what people say, but yeah, he's goofball for sure, dude. Like, pretty funny, dude. But yeah, so
If
All the views that Tristan has expressed are his and his only.
not of the entire
Not of
band.
Forge the Sun.
The people watching live, you didn't hear it. That's fine.
I got a call from Barrett. He told me to throw a disclaimer out there.
What's oh shit, I forgot. What if you were able to sit down with any artist, alive or dead, from any time period, and have a conversation with, who would you have it with?
alive or dead?
I can open it up to any person in history, period.
Any person in history?
So I don't limit your list.
not gonna
Oh,
help
dude,
him.
John F. Kennedy for sure.
Hey,
Oh, really?
They assassinated him. Like he's, you know what I mean? Like he knew some stuff.
You want to talk to?
Did
to
you see
John
it
F.
coming?
Kennedy before he died?
You're talking
or-
aliens. You're talking CIA top stuff.
Yep.
Bay of Pigs. All that. Like mob. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that dude got. Like fortunately was the sacrificial lamb. But
Tell me
yeah,
more
probably
about it. No.
John F. Kennedy for sure. But like artist wise, probably Phil Collins, dude. That guy. The amount of times that people go, "Oh, Phil Collins, is he the guy that plays In the Air Tonight?" Do 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 do.
And that's
And
iconic
that's
in itself.
That's
though.
an iconic
Yeah.
song, but if anybody who's done any research on Genesis would know that Phil Collins is like one of the best drummers, and nobody says this. He's one of the best drummers ever in rock music. He was playing in weird time signatures and doing like all these crazy rhythmic patterns and playing like mixed meter, all this really technical, crazy stuff that later like progressive metal guys would like accredit to him. But he was doing that stuff in like the early 70s, and he's just reduced down to So Phil Collins for sure, because I just like he is a master songwriter and a master player. Like you have a lot of master players. You have a lot of guys who are really good at moving their fingers and really good at maybe they're good at writing catchy songs, but someone that could do both, because he's clearly a master at both from just his level of success and from what I've heard. I'm like, dude, I love his songwriting. I love his playing. So Phil Collins for me. That'd be a good one. What about you, Dave?
I don't know. Maybe Elliott Smith.
Oh, that's the 90s alternative artist, right?
I think I'd like to talk to him about those words you just put together.
Oh,
to
my
describe
bad.
him.
Sorry. I reduced him down. That's all I know about him.
No, you're right. No. I don't know. He's just a complex guy. I think he's like amazing songwriter and had a killer band and just decided to go off on his own and play really quiet, super melodic music. And I think he was a genius. Tortured genius.
Yeah, as many are. What about you guys?
Ooh, that's a good
God,
question.
in terms
yeah.
of musicians.
Deflect!
In
yeah,
terms
exactly.
of musicians, Chester Bennington maybe as one
nice.
because I definitely grew up with him and his style, so I think that'd be
Get Chester
sure.
and Chris Cornell in the room and
yeah,
ask them questions.
that'd be a way to do it. Those two, oh my god, Ryan.
No, just flashing back to so one of our podcast members used to work in a morgue when he passed away here in Detroit, and she gave me quite a story on everything that was like released to the public. And anyway, so
Are you talking about why maybe
we'll leave
what
that
happened?
off air.
Yeah, that's why I included those two. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I funny enough, I wanted to go to that concert, the last one that they had here in Detroit, and I didn't go to it, and I was really bummed.
You know, I've heard that like I've had like 10 different people say that same thing. Yeah, it's pretty wild. I think that changes your perspective on like, I'll catch him next time. And you're like,
no,
maybe
it was
you won't.
a literal like,
Yeah.
because I even had a coworker that I never talked to at the time.
Yeah,
That was like, hey, like you should go out to the show.
yeah,
And I'm like, I'll catch him on the next one.
yeah.
And
That sucks, man.
I saw Soundgarden like 3 times, Audio Slave once, and I met Chris a couple times, and a lot of my friends went to that last show. It was super emotional.
Yeah, it's intense, dude. It happened that night, right?
The overnight,
overnight.
Jesus Christ, dude, that's insane.
It's terrible.
Yeah. Oh, look at
God, let's get off that subject.
Yeah,
well, look at the chat. Well, hey,
What is
jeez,
the
I forgot
chat saying?
Well, you got what is it? Matt Minardo saying, "What's up, Trev?"
Oh yeah,
Tristan.
yeah. What's
you
up,
got,
Matt?
You got
Matt.
Riley.
Riley, Riley and
He's
Matt.
the most talented guitarist in the scene.
Oh,
Look at
dude,
that.
stop! Riley's insane.
His artist you suggested was a Dimebag.
Oh, did Riley say that?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
For
He rips. Riley's nuts, and I mean, he's a crazy, great guitar player, and I can definitely see the influence there for sure. Yeah, Dimebag. I don't know how productive that conversation would be. Dude, I've seen videos.
It would be that kind of an
Be
outlier.
pretty under the influence.
You
But
want
yeah,
to
it
actually
would've
have
been
a
fun.
conversation with somebody, not just say, "Hey, I met this guy."
Yeah. But then I don't know. That's what makes Dimebag though. This is partying too. Right on. Cool. Yeah, Dimebag Darrell that'd be a good one. So.
Yeah, well, to answer the question, to kind of round it off, I think I would love to sit down and talk with Lars for a minute.
Oh, cool.
From
Lars
Metallica.
Ulrich? Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, I think he's the living embodiment of, like, you don't have to be the best at something per se by standards and be, like, extremely influential.
Yeah.
And then having, like, the way you know he approaches, I'm sure life, he approaches it similarly to the way he structures his music and stuff like that.
Totally.
It's just crazy. I mean, it's talk about like what happened in the 80s, bro. They had to have done some wild stuff in the 80s.
Oh, the 80s?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for
Like-
sure.
It's insane the way that they ground out
Right.
that record and sold as many copies of that record as they
The
sold
Black Album?
with no money behind them. No,
Or
and
Kill 'Em All?
kill them all
Yeah.
with no money behind them.
Yeah, it's pre-internet.
Just grinding it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just hungry, just so
Every-
hungry.
everything from just like finding each other on a newspaper ad, like it's just
Yeah.
They
it's-
took a
it's-
page from
right.
all the DIY movement people, like Firehose and all of those bands, Minutemen, Black Flag, all those bands had pieces of paper with 100 clubs on there, and they made copies of it and gave it to each other. I mean, they did the work.
Yeah.
Nobody does the work anymore.
Yeah. No, that's
It's not like
something.
old man.
Yeah.
Let me get my walker. Get out of here.
That's something I really admire from because again, I don't consider myself to have the best podcast in the world or be the best at anything that I do, but that kind of that persona or almost legend, you can say,
Yeah.
that I find that really intriguing. I was like, man, like I just want to talk to you and have a beer.
There's a life lesson, with not just with music, but in sports too, and like just anybody, like people that can, like I think Lars is a really good drummer. I don't know where. I think it's like group psychology. A lot of people will be like, yeah, he's bad. Like enough people will be like, yeah, he's bad, and then other group of people who don't know anything about drums or, don't play an instrument will be like, oh yeah, I think he's really bad too, and then it just kind of snowballs.
Oh yeah, and
I really do think he's a good drummer. Like maybe the tempo is not. Yeah, right. It's before a lot of those records. Maybe that people are referring to is like, it's before you could like quantize the beat and make everything perfect, right? You're hearing mistakes. You're hearing the struggle. You're hearing that.
Well, it's YouTube videos of him fucking up songs.
Sure, but it's like
and again, he does 1,000 shows
awful.
and it's like 10
Exactly.
compilation of
Yeah.
10 fuck ups.
Yeah, and you're like,
come on.
dude, it's like let's put the camera on you. There are
Right,
people who
right.
completely shut down. You put a camera in front of them.
Oh yeah.
They can't. It's
To
a
this day,
psychological thing.
it's easier for me to play in front of 1,000 people than 10 people in the room.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah.
Like not even a question for some whatever reason, you know.
And then he's got to fit this image that people have of There's probably there's that like worship kind of image too. That Lars Metallica. So then he's probably thinking like, dude, I don't have a god complex. I'm not dog shit. Like I worked really hard at my craft, and you know,
and he just
he is what he is. Like I don't know. Those was the first 4 albums. I've loved his drumming on all 4 of those albums, and I listened again to like hardcore and punk and jazz. You listen to a live jazz record, right? There's all kinds of weird like impromptu interplay that happens between musicians and the audience. I think it's cool when they capture that stuff in the studio, and I think when he's like playing out of time or he messes something up, that's cool. That's Lars. If you were to strip the personality out and make it perfect, it's not him anymore, right? I mean, it's sometimes down to the finest little detail, and if that's by design, okay, that's all right. But like, I like that stuff. I like the rawness of how those records sound.
They didn't record Beggar's Banquet with Pro Tools. Put a metronome on any of those songs.
Yes.
It's whatever beat they're playing in at the moment.
And it might go up, too. The tempo might...
It's art.
Totally, exactly. And you're capturing a performance in the moment. Maybe Lars had a really good breakfast that day. That's why he kicks ass. Seriously. That's why he kicks ass on rattling. But then maybe fought with his wife the day, when he was
let
recording.
some anger out.
Yeah, and that's why it was. But you captured a moment that'll never be replicated ever again. That's something I feel is like totally just missing.
It's about
from a lot of music. The performance, how you're feeling that very moment in that day, what you chose to do, maybe what you chose not to do. Maybe something happened. When I'm recording, you can hear I missed like a strum on the most recent single that we have, Fall and Rot Tonight. There's a little strum I missed, but I was like, I like that. I like that. That's human. And you kind of think
imperfections are perfections.
The imperfections are perfections. Even think about our society. Everything's got to be perfect. You only see the good parts. You only see the best parts. And what's that create? It creates mental illness. We only ever see perfect this and that, and nothing's real. I'm not trying to have like a Joker moment or anything, but like it's
society.
Yeah, exactly. That's society. But that's really it, dude. And you see that in the music too. You do see a lot of plastic. You see a lot of it's got to be perfect. The imperfections are perfection in a lot of cases. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you fuck up and you want to redo something and it just doesn't sound good, sure. But like you said, like you're capturing a moment, a performance, a chemistry or lack of that was happening in the moment. So I don't know. I'm Team Lars, dude. I like Lars.
Yeah, well, I'm clearly, Team Lars.
I think we all are. Are we all?
Yeah, Brian. Yeah. Are we all? At the end of the day, don't we have a little bit of Lars?
And Justice for All tour I saw, and there's nothing wrong with
Jason,
this
I wasn't lucky enough. Even though I've seen Metallica about 7 times since 2013.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, I usually the only time I missed them coming to Detroit, from 13 to now, was this last one they had at Ford Field.
Were you at Orion Festival?
Yep.
I was there
both
too.
days.
When they went as the fake
show,
band.
Yep.
Yeah, they went.
Dane DeHaan, that's the
Dane DeHaan, that's what it was.
Yep.
Metallica went on as a fake band, and people the whole day were looking at the billing, and they're like, Dane DeHaan, who the hell are these fucking guys? And of course, just like groupthink, I ran into morons that said, oh, they're kick ass, dude. Oh, Dane DeHaan, they're great. The same people that say Lars sucks. Oh, they're great. They're awesome. Yeah. And like again, this band never existed. There was no fake there was no music put out there or anything. Just people with assholes. They're just talking. And I'll let you go.
Yeah. The fun part of that is like if you did one Google search, you would literally just get the the actor that was in their movie at that time, but they're promoting.
That's pretty cool. That's crazy.
Which is like, dude, one Google search of the band would have been
told like, there you go.
Wait, that's just
maybe they thought it was like a maybe they thought it was like a Fall of Troy thing, like Macaulay Culkin, like their last song is like named after. I don't know, right. But yeah, you're right. Like they would have been like, all right, dude, it's a festival being put on by Metallica,
right?
But that was awesome. I remember, dude, I never saw so many people run over to that stage because James Hetfield came out. He was like, "Are you guys ready for Dane DeHaan?" And people were like, "Yeah!"
Dude, there was nobody at that stage.
Nobody. They were all watching Dropkick Murphys.
I was dropping Deftones when they started.
Deftones. That's what it was. Deftones were playing, and then James Hetfield was like, "All right," and then the whole Metallica, the rest of the Metallica members come out. And
everyone realized at the same time.
People are falling down. Like significant others are falling down, and significant others just keep running. Like it's crazy, dude.
I hope to God other like bands knew what was happening. Because I would feel bad to just start seeing all those people leaving. I would too.
That's what it was. Deftones because they had the punk stage / whatever you want to call that.
Right. They had the main one, the Orion stage or something.
Yes,
like
yeah. Who had like Red Hot Chili Peppers play.
I saw them that night.
Did
That
you
was
see like
pretty
they
nice.
had like God, what was it? They have the electronic stage too, and then they had the cars that James Hetfield brought in, and all of his muscle
Yep, I
cars.
remember that. Yep.
They had a room. They had a building with all Kirk Hammett's like horror themed guitars. It was awesome. Dude.
I got to take a picture in the little section they had for fans.
Okay,
where,
cool.
where you can take a picture with the drum kit and the stuff.
Oh, that's
I
sick.
met Cliff Burton's dad there.
Oh yeah, he tours with him
and
sometimes.
I have a shirt that he signed, and I have
That's
a picture
so awesome,
with him.
dude.
Nice.
And he unfortunately already passed away, but it's like, damn,
He's
like,
close with the band, yeah.
Yeah,
He's super close.
And I'm like, man, like I met like the dad of the legend. Like that's crazy, dude. And I still, to this day, I'm like, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And in real time, it just feels weird.
No, that's awesome. Dude. That was so cool. They only did 2 years, and that was
No, they only did. I think they did
Was
the
it
one.
only one? So
Yeah.
that was the first one.
Yeah,
Oh.
they were signed for like 3 years,
And then it fell through.
Yeah, City of Detroit or something.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so fun, dude.
'Cause
Taking
if-
a bus there and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, so
I'm sure
fun.
that probably has something to do with it. 'Cause
Oh, the traffic was insane.
logistics of getting people to like the island.
Yeah.
It's like the Grand Prix.
Mhm.
I'm sure that's probably one of the things they were running into year after
It must
year.
have been,
They're
yeah.
like,
One of
instead-
the main
Right.
reasons.
Oh, good times. That was really. Oh man.
It's funny, like you were there.
Yeah, dude,
Like,
you
I
were
was
there
but,
too,
like,
dude.
You were like, that's
That's
crazy.
sick.
So,
That was cool.
but I mean, to keep it in a positive note, let's not, we went a little bit on a down now. But going forward, I know you guys are 5 years in. What's one of the main goals, either individually or collectively, did you guys have for the group and the project?
For me, I just want to keep getting better as a musician. Like more melodic, more rhythmic. Just keep practicing the fundamentals. For the group, I'd like us to play more out of state, and that's I've expressed that, and they're all on the same page. So just that might mean less shows, but we're playing. And for us, out of state might be Grand Rapids, right? Like that's like because you're playing the Detroit circuit so much.
Right.
That's a totally different market.
That's one thing I recommend to all the artists that I ever talk to here locally is like,
Yeah.
if you get a chance to play in front of 30 people outside of the state, do that over doing the same 200 people every week.
Yeah, get out of your market.
Get out of your market, because it goes back down to like your friends and family are gonna say you're good,
Yeah.
but no, you want to actually get out there, put the legwork in,
Oh,
because
totally.
it's like, I mean, yeah, if you're revolving around the same people, you're gonna get the same result.
It's really hard to invite the same people to a show week after week.
True.
I mean, we were doing this
Yeah.
thing where we were playing like a show like every week, dude, for a couple of years. It was nuts, like every other week.
Mhm.
And I even had people that were like, dude, like you guys play a lot. You guys like everything about just not saying yes, and it was kind of like I think it was good. It made us really tight, and we also did like cover gigs too, which is great because classical guys do it, jazz guys do it. Like all these studies of music, you study and you learn how to play pieces. Do it with pop, do it with rock standards. This is what it is. It's called. There's a culture, and there's like you're expected to know the certain stuff because it also builds your chops and builds a connecting fabric that you can have with other musicians if you want to jam or whatever. We learned so much about like songwriting and also like playing with each other, right? Like we're all playing things that we don't know because we're learning the songs by other people, and then we're learning to play with each other, doing these things that we've never done before. There's so like many variables you work out right there.
Mm-hmm.
You can also play weird ass covers that nobody else is gonna know.
What's the weirdest cover we've played, Dave?
He doesn't even remember. That's how weird it was.
What about Tool? We'll do Tool. Like we love playing Stinkfist. That's like our favorite Tool song to do. But we did Vicarious for a while. That was like that song takes a lot out of you, man. It takes
Tool takes a lot out of it.
yeah. Vicarious is like, dude, it's so there's so much mixed meter and like weirdness. Did the Pot, Stinkfist, Vicarious. Then we'll do like deep cuts that like people don't know or whatever. We'll play songs by bands that maybe it's big for the band, but people still don't really know the band. Like, what's the Death by Rock and Roll? Do you know that song?
Is that Death by Rock and Roll? Isn't that Pretty Reckless?
Yeah, Pretty Reckless. Yeah, like it's so much. I'd be like, this song kicks ass. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's
and
good.
Kind of like,
I don't think I've heard that song.
it's a
before.
fun one to play,
Yeah.
dude, because it's good old rock and roll. You know what I mean? Like it's just good.
Yeah.
So, and if people don't like it, how can we make them like it? Let's just put our all into it when we perform. People be like, oh, I really liked that song. Is that a new one? Be like, that's by Pretty Reckless, dude. That's
Be like, yeah, it's a new one.
exactly. And we'll
New
do,
for us.
we'll cover like we played Be Quiet and Drive by Deftones. I love that song. That's an awesome song.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of.
Victorino likes a lot of Deftones.
Oh, I know. I've talked to Victorino about.
He could talk to you. He could talk your ears off for Deftones,
dude. Yeah, someone who was just scratching the surface. And I mean, I have like some like that first album. Was it Between the or what's the one with the pink little cylinder on it?
Oh, I forgot. I thought you were going to
It's
talk
got
about White
7
Pony. I thought you were going to
words.
talk about White Pony. What's the other one?
White Pony's good. I like the raw early stuff.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like sounds like it's recorded with like like GarageBand or something.
Yeah.
Like, I love that stuff because they sound more like a hardcore band to me. But yeah, when I saw them, I got the Deftones bug, and I was like, dude, I got it.
Yeah, they're definitely one of the best acts I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were awesome, dude.
And then, again, going back to like we were kind of briefly talking earlier, that most of the bands I end up liking a lot. Like I've heard of the band, but I've never heard any of their songs.
Yeah.
And then I was there getting it, like Dropkick Murphys. I listened to this day, and I saw them for the first time or knew they existed that day
At Orion Fest?
at Orion Fest.
That's cool, dude.
And that's what I do even with local bands. Sometimes when I get invited to events, I'm like, damn, like who is that? And then I, after the fact, look them up. I'm like,
Hell yeah, yeah. There's just like there's got to be some psychological bias where like you are somehow able to channel what you were experiencing in that
Right.
high you were experiencing in that moment with like you know it's the band, so you have that like connection, right? Because I remember before seeing Deftones, I like didn't really think much of it. System of a Down was the same way, like.
Right.
And when I saw them, I was like, "Oh my god!" There's a bunch of songs here I really like. I don't know what they're called.
Right.
Like I had to go look them up.
Yeah,
I saw them at DTE, and I went in my car after the show. Immediately listened to White Pony and what's the one with Be Quiet and Drive on it? God, it's the one with the girl on it. I think it's like,
It's that famous one. Yeah. I forget
yeah. But then our drummer Isaac hipped me to the first album. That's like that's my favorite one. That's the heaviest. Like I just love how heavy and raw and like clearly influenced by hardcore music that album is. So yeah, no, that's good stuff. Hell yeah.
you have any questions?
No, well, yeah. So my thing was because I was talking to Brian about it because with bands, I imagine maybe sometimes like you're one day like, oh, imagine we got to play with some of our favorites and that we grew up listening to, or even now, and it's like if you had to come up with basically your own kind of Orion Fest, we like you included. Who else would you have with you?
Mastodon is my favorite band.
That's a good
Ever.
choice.
So probably put Mastodon on there. I'd probably do it like the theme would be like prog. That's
Sure.
it. So I have like Mastodon
Yeah.
on there. I'd probably get like whoever's left in the band, yes, just because I love that band. Like Steve Howe is still there, so it'd be like Steve Howe and Friends is basically what that would be.
Just gotta change the name a little bit.
Rush. Like if I could go back and get like honestly, if they found like Neil Peart would be awesome, obviously because he's like the dude.
Right.
But like if you
Not
could
so
get
much
like.
now,
Because he's dead. Yeah. Thanks, Dave.
It's
yeah.
a little hard to play.
Yeah,
drums when you're
exactly.
dead.
That was my first concert, 1983. Damn.
I'd probably for sure like even if it was like Rush, but then they had like I don't know like Mike Mangini or like Mike Portnoy or whoever,
yeah.
Danny Carey, whoever they got that was like an amazing progressive rock drummer to honorably kind of fill in and play it. That'd be pretty awesome. So something like a 4 or 5 band bill. Because, if you book 10, you got to split, then there's the splitting of the money. So I want to make it, smaller, right? But those are also the fans I'd like to be more around, too, because I know. And then maybe throw, like, a band in there that, like, I believe there's 2 kinds of music. There's the good kind and then the other kind. That's a quote by Duke Ellington. So maybe throw a band in there that I really like that has a demographic of, like, fans that don't necessarily listen to hard rock music, right?
I'll put the Jesus Lizard in there.
Okay, Jesus Lizard.
That would fit good with those.
Yeah, okay, right on. And I would probably ask Dave. I'd be like, who should we add? He'd be like, Jesus Lizard. I'd be like, I'm going to trust you on this one, man.
He's gonna sell all the
You did
tickets.
recommend me the album with the dog on it. That was pretty good.
Down.
Yeah, Down, yeah. Down dog.
I'm gonna add that to the list.
They're wild. There's a weird
Best
thing going
bands
on in
in
the
the whole
90s. Alternative rock was, you were
No,
there.
it's post-punk, buddy.
Yeah, well, but isn't that 90s? Isn't that like late 80s, early 90s?
Let's just say it's not all rock.
Okay. So, but yeah, that's what I would do. What about you guys?
What would you add, Brian?
That's a tough question. With current bands, because again, my liking switches. I'm sure like a lot of people's throughout the years. I used to be the biggest Metallica fan up to 4 years ago.
Okay.
But they'll definitely be in there. They'll be in the list. I would definitely add Limp Bizkit to that.
Okay.
I can't wait for them to be here in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be
2000
God.
metal, yeah.
Oh, dude. And I only started liking Limp Bizkit about a year ago.
Sometimes you get the bug, dude.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
you didn't.
And I'm like, oh, man,
You're saying
Fred
you didn't
Durst is
grow up
actually
loving
a
him,
nice dude.
Yeah.
It'll be that. Damn. What do I have? 2 people?
I would, for me at least, I'd throw Deftones for sure,
Deftones?
because I think
Ooh.
them and Avenged Sevenfold, only because like they got me into like the whole rock thing only because of sports video games. I was like, oh, I like their songs. And I'm like,
They would, yeah.
deep
That's
dive.
the-
Let's go into that. Go into that.
You play Madden now, not to cut you off, but you were mentioning rap kind of being
Yeah.
king. In the 2000s, when you played Madden, it was like Blood and Thunder by Mastodon, Queens
Or-
of the Stone Age,
Dude,
no
it
one
was
knows.
Party Hard by NGWK. That was another one.
Let's start a party. Yeah, that guy.
That.
That was really, and then
all
you.
video games had like they almost zero hip.
There was like
There's no rock music.
there was like some 41 back in the day too.
Yes.
The Jimmy Eat World, like,
Tony
oh my
Hawk
God.
games,
Yeah.
yeah.
NHL too. It had those. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right.
Totally. That was that and Guitar Hero. Those were like really big mediums to experience that kind of music. And
Yeah.
then like, wow. You know, that just that exposure. I imagine if I didn't have that exposure, I might not be playing guitar. I mean, I saw Walk the Line with Johnny Cash, like the
Yeah.
biopic,
Mhm.
but like the other stuff definitely helped too. Those were the big factors that made me want to play guitar. But those kinds of forms of media, right? That like,
Oh, yeah.
that-
If it
that's
wasn't for Guitar
influences.
Hero, I probably wouldn't be in the rock period.
Yeah, there you
Which
go.
is
Wasn't
crazy.
EA a subsidiary of like Columbia or somebody? I mean, that's like
Maybe that's how. Yeah.
seriously,
Right,
like
right.
that's how they get those songs.
Okay.
So like, think about that kind of power like behind that, where you're like, I don't know, I don't want to get into like a Elvis Costello radio moment, but the money swings hard.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Oh,
think
I mean
that-
that's what ended up killing it. Is because they saw too much money of it, and they released like 37 games in 2 years, and they were like, "Oh, I guess people don't want this shoved down their throat."
they just did it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
they just
They just need it.
shout out to Marvel.
Yeah.
Moment of silence.
Moment of silence for Black Widow.
Well, I was gonna say Deadpool's coming in a couple weeks,
Oh,
so yeah,
good.
we got that going on for us.
That's gonna be a good one.
Oh, I'm ready for that. Jeez, my God.
Oh, is there anything you want to add, Mr.
Uh,
Mario?
I think I mentioned this to you before. I was like, beforehand, we started the show before everybody came. It was like the kind of cliches that you see with certain types of like genres of music. You know, like rock, like old school rock and roll, or
Yeah.
you know, like
1,
you gotta,
2, 3.
that, or like you gotta have the one moment where you're like, do I do this to my guitar and just yeet it into the wall, into the floor? Like, are there
Definitely do that.
no, absolutely
That
not.
always upsets me when I see that. I'm like, dude.
But has there ever been like just one moment where any of you were like get yourself like, I did this like I became like somebody who did this, like I became a part
Like
of
the
this
cliches
moment.
of being a
But
dad.
dude, any guitar, it's called the pentatonic scale, and if you play guitar, that is like the best cliche. It's the most valuable and it's the most common. Play the pentatonic scale on the guitar, come up with a lick, and you're like, dude, I sound like I'm in a band from the 70s. So I would say it's that pentatonic scale. But I don't know, any kind of like moving. I've tried to get Barrett to do some cliche like
Stage diving or anything like that.
like just like choreography, because I know it'll like weird him out. Like I like just say like, hey dude, and I don't really want to do it, but I know just by it coming out of my mouth it's gonna make him uncomfortable. And I'll be like, dude, we should do this thing where we like line up back to back.
Oh,
And he'll be like, no dude, he'll just get really rowdy guys. Like, dude, really? And then like I could like put it up in the air and then like, you know, we could be like, you know, and I just
play your
say
part, you
that
play my part.
exactly, and I'll just say that to like make him squirm. It's funny. I'll be like, no dude, that's not, and then I'll be like, that sounds dumb.
Well, I was also gonna ask.
I'd be like, no, Built to Spill never did that.
Yeah.
I'm never doing it.
Totally.
Does weirdly on a follow up? Does everybody have long hair in your band?
No, Barrett had a really long
Okay.
queue for a while. It's me and Isaac had long hair. No,
He did, man. I can't believe it.
I know.
Although
Looked
it's
like a
growing
Viking.
like crazy already.
that's Gia, dude.
Man,
Yeah.
because I was like another cliche. It's like, does everybody have like all the guitarists just have with the long hair like in like choreography? You're saying just like do the swing like, at
Yeah.
the same
There's
time
none
like
of that.
in your breakdown or anything like that. Okay, so we're good
Yeah,
on
maybe
that.
guitar faces. I make a lot of guitar faces. Helps me play. It's my
Your stank
performance
face.
enhancing drug is stank faces.
It's a thing.
I'm straight edge, but when it comes to stank faces, dude, I'm an addict,
It's a
dude.
thing.
So, yeah, no, that's I mean,
like, when he asked me earlier, like, some rock and roll cliches, I'm like, are we gonna ask our guests if they like to do coke?
oh no, we're straight edge, dude. We don't do any of that stuff.
Come on, man, we can't always.
I wasn't thinking that. I don't know why did you think that.
But
Like,
no.
what?
Cokeheads will tell you if they do coke. That's something I've learned.
No, they won't. They'll just say, "Do you have any?"
There you go. Yeah. So, no, yeah, that's another thing too. That's everybody in the band's like clean as a whistle.
For now.
For hopefully forever. Yeah. So that's cool because it cuts out a lot of stupid bullshit.
There's not a lot of extraneous shit going on with these guys. They're each really powerful musicians on their own, and together they're a force. And I highly recommend you come see them because their performances are insane. 5 people, 500 people, it doesn't matter.
Where can we see them? Now plug.
Great
up?
question. So
Swing it to what's coming up.
July 26th, we were playing Grand Rapids. We're playing at Mulligan's, which is a really cool bar. It's got a bar area where like people who aren't into music can just like chill out, and then you have to go through like a doorway that's connected to the venue part, and that gets you the band, which is super cool. It's one of my favorite venues.
Is it on
to
a
play.
Saturday or what day is it?
It's a Friday.
That's a Friday. Yeah, July 26th at Mulligan's in Grand Rapids, and then July 27th we're playing in Ypsilanti at Ziggy's.
That's a Saturday.
Yeah, that's a Saturday. That'll be fun.
work,
They'll both be really fun.
What's the schedule look like?
So
actually,
the 27th we should have it clear.
I don't.
Oh, never mind.
And then let's see. I might have some August dates here too. I don't know if we got them pulled up. Oh, you know what? I don't know. Let's see if I have them shows. Oh yeah, I do. Loading.
I was like, da.
Usually, what happens is we book a show, and then what will happen is like in between like 2 shows that are like a month apart, at like 2 more shows get booked, and that was an issue we were having because we were not only like we still had that happen, and then we were still like going out and booking more shows on our own. So like a lot of shows will get like added to, which is cool.
But do you guys have links up for them at all for like your Linktree or for?
Oh yeah,
is it on your Instagram?
If you go on our Instagram and go to our if you go to our Instagram page, you can go to there's like memories or whatever like on the Instagram, like you'll have like the highlights.
Right.
There's an area that says upcoming shows. We post flyers there too. Also, if you follow us on Spotify or Instagram or Facebook, we post about the shows, so you'll know at least like a couple weeks in advance. We do play in Chesterfield at the Diesel Concert Lounge. August 23rd. We're playing with Voyager, The 8th Passenger, and Imminent Sonic Destruction. That's all like progressive.
That name.
It's all progressive metal. So
Nice.
and honestly, like we're all over the place. Like we're rock and roll, we're prog metal, we're prog rock, we just released again like a hardcore song. We'll do whatever. Like that's for me. That's proggy. Doing something people don't expect you to do.
Right.
We're pop. Like we do it all. Alternative. It might be the best word to describe all that. You're combining a bunch of stuff. But yeah. So that's August 23rd. That's a Friday at the Diesel Concert Lounge in Chesterfield. So
That one's fine. We don't have anything booked. We're good.
that'll be cool. Yeah.
We have the terrible habit now that we have booking of our guests and trying to be professional.
Yeah.
That we're overbooking. And we're like, oh crap.
Well, let's be clear. If we don't see both of you guys at one of those 3 shows, we're definitely coming back.
That's a weird conundrum.
Just gonna
All right.
put it out there.
Oh
for a
shit.
trade.
Oh shit. What do we do?
I mean, it'll just be to say hi.
Of course.
You know,
It'd be like our guest yesterday. We didn't invite. He just pulled up to the house. I'm like, what are you doing here?
you're like nothing.
He
Just saying what's up.
bribed his way in with a bottle of tequila.
Yeah. Essentially.
But no, I really appreciate you guys coming through. And
Absolutely.
your Instagram handle is Forge the Sun Band.
Forge the Sun band.
All together,
Yep.
no weird signals or anything like that.
No, like cryptic anything. So Forge the Sun band. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, all the streaming services, Facebook. Yeah, we're on TikTok, and then we do post different stuff because, like, for me, like, I really try to study like the algorithms and stuff. So you'll get different memes with each app.
That makes 2 of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, it's not working for us.
Yeah,
We're
likewise,
shadow banned on
dude.
Instagram and TikTok.
I asked Barrett. I was like, "What do you think?" I was like, "What do you think I've got to do?" He's like, "I think it's totally random."
Yeah.
he was like, and that's on, and that was it. He was
It's
like,
50% random and 50% like you put in the work. Though.
Yeah.
when random meets talent meets opportunity.
And don't we know that
we
from our
definitely know
stuff?
that,
My
yeah.
God. Like half of our like I guess viral stuff, maybe most of half is just I don't know us bullshitting really. It's random stuff.
Yeah, you're
like I'm playing a video game or he's reacting to some R-rated clown that's really being insane.
You just got to put in the work.
Yeah, it's just little bits of edits sprinkled in there and boom, million hits.
Yeah. You never know what you're gonna say at one point that somebody's like, oh my god, I gotta share this.
Lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
It was.
So
right on. I really appreciate you guys. It won't be the last time I have you guys on.
Yeah.
Next time, we'll have another member of the
Hopefully
band.
You get more members of the band instead of my old ass sitting here taking up space.
You guys should come to a show, and then we should have a post-show.
Oh,
that's a good
idea.
That'd
be
We've
cool,
had
follow-up
suggestions like that.
Yeah, hell yeah, cool.
I don't know how easy it is to take the equipment, but we might have to do work somehow.
I was going to say like we have a show.
Yeah.
Oh, you said what?
I said we play Kaiju Cafe. We'll set up a show at my house.
I didn't think like ESPN like. Thanks, Mario. Brian here, live on the scene. I gotta think like I talked to Tristan, and he's really excited to play this one. Back to you. Like I was thinking,
if you did the sound effect, Brian, for that specific moment, no, that'd be great. Gotta have the old school radio. If you know which one it is, I don't know. Oh, that's not it.
So like,
yeah, you're not gonna know. He did it at some point. Yeah.
Had a distorted sound like a World War II commentary.
Nice.
Like Shane Gillis.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
There's Curly. Here comes the pitch.
Fuck.
Home run.
That's a good joke.
So good.
So yeah, no, we could come back here, but yeah, on the spot would be cool. That definitely would be a change.
That'd be neat.
We'll be our first in the spot. We've done remote podcasts.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Okay, right on.
No, it was nice to meet you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Really
yes.
appreciate
Pleasure,
you guys.
man.
Yes, if I can reach. There we go.
All right, thanks again. Cool. Yeah, and check out Forge's Son. Shoot us a message. Let us know what you think of our music.
Follow them on Instagram, fellas.
Yeah, to all the people who watched and said hi and all that fun stuff.
Absolutely.
Love it.